Here we're told that we want to integrate a function between the x values 0 and 2, but we're told that this function is split up into two pieces. Now this is not an accurate depiction of this function, but f of x looks like one thing between 0 and 1, and that function looks like something totally different between 0 and 2. And since this integral just represents the area beneath this function between the x values of 0 and 2, what we can do is just split this integral into two pieces. One integral of the function from 0 to 1, and one integral of the function from 1 to 2. For x values between 0 and 1, the function just looks like 5x to the 7th. For x values between 1 and 2, the function just looks like 4x cubed. Now we can integrate these two things separately, add together our answers, and we'll be done. Of course, let's recall that the integral of x to some real number power is x to the n plus 1 divided by that n plus 1. That's just called the power rule. So when we're looking to integrate 5x to the 7th, we just need to increase the power on x by 1. That's going to be 5x to the 8th, and then we're going to divide by that 8. And we're going to evaluate that integral between 0 and 1. The integral of 4x cubed requires us to add 1 to the power of 3 here, giving us 4x to the 4th, and then we divide by that power of 4. And we evaluate that result between 1 and 2. Now we can just use the fundamental theorem of calculus, part 2, which says that we plug in our upper limit of integration here, and we subtract and plug in our lower limit of integration. We're going to do that twice. We're going to do that once for each one of these results. The first piece of our integral turns into these two terms here. We're going to add. 4 over 4 just simplifies to 1, so if I may, I'm just going to cancel those two things out up there. And I'm just going to plug in my limits to x to the 4th. Plugged in our upper limit, we subtracted, we plugged in our lower limit, and we're good. All we have to do now is simplify. 1 to the 8th power is just 1, 0 to the 8th power is 0, making this whole term 0. 2 to the 4th power is 16, and 1 to the 4th power is 1. A couple more steps of simplification. We get 5/8 plus 15 here, and if we want to find a nice fraction answer, we have to find a common denominator. 8 times 15, I believe, is 120. And we get a final answer of 125/8. I don't think that reduces any further, so I'm going to box that up and call that an answer. And zoom out so you can see all of our work.